It's a pleasure to be here today alongside Ontario's Minister of Energy and Mines and the broader team as we mark an important step forward in Canada's clean energy future. First off, congratulations. There was a huge announcement in Ontario this morning with Premier Ford and the Prime Minister. But Mr. Lecce is here with us, but that's a big announcement. Almost $3 billion deal to move clean energy forward in this country. It's a massive announcement today. So congratulations to Ontario and Canada on that. And building on that, we're here today to announce that Nova Scotia and Ontario are entering into a memorandum of understanding to collaborate on the advancement of small modular reactor technology. An innovative, clean form of energy that holds great promise for our country. Small modular reactors represent the next generation of nuclear technology. They offer enhanced safety, economic efficiency, and environmental benefits. And Ontario has been leading the way in this space for sure with the Darlington new nuclear project. You guys are leading the way. There's lots of research happening around the world in various places, but what's happening in Ontario is actually at the forefront. So we're happy to work with Ontario and Nova Scotia here. For sure, we have to explore the full range of clean energy options. We just have to look at everything. And this is a partnership that allows us to learn from Ontario's experience and learn from Ontario's expertise in this space. So the MOU will outline several key areas of collaboration. First, we will share knowledge and expertise from technological readiness and regulatory frameworks to supply chains, financing, and nuclear waste management. We'll work together to engage with the federal government, advocating for meaningful support and streamlined regulatory approvals. We will inform and educate the public about the economic and environmental benefits of nuclear energy and SMRs in general. And we will engage with other provinces and territories to build a pan-Canadian approach to clean energy innovation. But this is about a lot more than just nuclear technology. It's about building a resilient, reliable, and sustainable energy future for Nova Scotia and for all Canadians. So we're excited about this announcement today. We thank Minister Lecce and his team, and now I'll turn it over to Mr. Lecce for a few comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Premier. It's an honor to be here in Halifax. Premier, I'm very grateful for your leadership in the province and in the country. Now more than ever, when we're facing a common threat, having a leader at the national table fighting for one unified economy has made the difference. So thank you, sir, for what you do. I would just say, Premier, my mom, many moons ago, immigrated through Halifax at Pier 21. My family's immigrant story starts here. And I visited Pier 21, and I got to tell you, it feels like a bit like home. Just my mom remembers the cold winter April morning when she arrived at Halifax Harbour. But it's really nice to be here. I know so many Canadians have that similar story. We're here.
You're growing on me.
Okay, well, I'm not trying to do any of that, just to make the case that there's a connection east and west, as Canadians. And today we're here to do something bridging the divide of our country, bringing us together around a clean energy future. Our province is leading the first small modular reactor in the G7. That is consequential. Canada, Ontario, is building it before the Brits or the Americans or the Germans or the Japanese. I mean, we're really flexing our muscle as a leader in the world. Proven tech through OPG, Ontario Power Generation, that builds nuclear on time and on budget, which is our differentiating advantage over everyone else. SMRs is nation building. Small modular reactors, this fleet approach is going to make the difference. We're talking about 18,000 construction jobs, 3,700 permanent jobs. So far, just with the fleet of 4, $500 million investment in the supply chain of Canada. But we could do more. We could scale, and that's why we're here. To further build that momentum. As Premier Houston mentioned, the Prime Minister and Premier of Ontario are literally just hours ago at Darlington using the backdrop of the construction of this project to announce billion-dollar investments to move it forward. And in Nova Scotia, because of the leadership of Premier Houston, Premier Ford, we're here today to also move this project forward through this partnership, this MOU, that's going to really help advance the cause of clean power, nuclear power for the country. We want to be more self-reliant. We want to be strong as a country. And I think if we work together, East and West, I know Premier Ford feels very strongly about this, we can take on the world. We are an energy superpower. I mean, your ambition on offshore wind is massive. This is true nation building in action. And likewise of the SMRs, it's clean power, it's affordable, it's reliable. And that's why we're here. So it's an honor to be here to sign this MOU on behalf of Premier Ford, the province of Ontario, and just to affirm to the people of Nova Scotia, we are a friend, we are a partner, we are committed to the clean energy future and a strong economy to take on President Trump. And that's what this project, I believe, will do. So thank you so much, Premier.
Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Lecce, and thank you, Premier. We'll open up the room for questions.
Premier, does this agreement open the door to Nova Scotia investing money in Ontario's SMR ambition?
For sure. I mean, this is a new experience. We know we have so much work to do in the energy space. We have so much potential in this province in energy with our Wind West project, with our offshore oil and gas, with our onshore gas, with geothermal. We have lots of potential, but as a country, we have so much even more potential than just that. So I think being open to what is possible is really important. And the SMR technology, it's a great opportunity for the country, and it's a great opportunity for Ontario, and I think it can be a great opportunity for Nova Scotia as well. So we're going to share the expertise, we're going to learn from them and see what's possible, but we're open to options for sure.
Like contributing to building the SMRs at Darlington and then having some of the electricity come our way?
That's not been, it's not been an ask, it's not been an offer, but it's, these are things we'll talk about. We're going to be producing energy and exporting it to other parts of Canada. They're going to be producing energy and exporting it and moving it around and making sure our grids are properly balanced. And these are things we need to be open to. This is not a financial transaction today at this stage.
How far down the road do you think nuclear in Nova Scotia is?
Well, Minister Lecce can speak to kind of the timeline on the process that they're undergoing right now, but it's not a near-term thing for sure. But the timeline on the construction of the SMRs, I think, might be of interest to the group here.
Yeah, so the government signed an MOU in 2019. And we started construction very officially last year. The first SMR will be completed, connected to the grid by year 2029, and the full fleet of 4 by 2034-35. So these things don't happen overnight. This is the first of its kind technology in the world. So we have the first mover's advantage. We're doing it, we're taking on that risk with the recognition of huge economic opportunity too. And by doing it first, there's lessons learned for the second and third and fourth. And I think that's what I'm hearing from Premier Houston is really embracing those lessons to de-risk, reduce costs, and maximize the benefit for the province and for Canadians. And so that's why this project, I think, makes sense, at least for the exploratory purpose of today.
Minister,
Why do
does
you
it make
think we
sense?
need nuclear when Nova Scotia Power has an outlook and an integrated resource plan for at least the next decade that includes, mostly wind and solar as new additions and does not consider nuclear at all?
It's clean, consistent energy. We should. I don't think we're at a point in our province and certainly in our country where we just say no. We're not interested. We're interested. We're interested in a lot of things, and we're interested in nuclear. We also have a lot of uranium in this province. I know that's something that people don't want to talk about, but we have a lot of uranium in this province, and it'll be in demand as the world increasingly turns to nuclear because it's clean and so reliable. These are discussions. We're listening carefully. We're interested.
How does our uranium resource factor into this MOU?
It doesn't. It doesn't at this time. But the fact is that's a resource that isn't demand in the world. We don't have any active projects for uranium. I don't want to set off any hysteria today, or any kind of crazy headlines or anything. But it's a resource we have. It's not one that there's no active projects. There's no applications for active projects. There's not. But it's still a resource that's here. And in the fullness of time, as nuclear power becomes more in demand, which it is around the world, maybe that's a resource that'll be in demand as well.
Minister, you're okay, I guess, with Ontario spending the money and Nova Scotia reaping the benefits? That's what it sort of is being described as here today.
No, I think maybe a more accurate description is the province of Ontario is embracing and investing in first-of-its-kind technology to deliver continuous power for 65 years and add, according to the Conference Board of Canada, $39 billion to the GDP of the province. This is a win economically. It's energy security, it's economic policy, it's industrial policy. So this is about value add for Ontario ratepayers and taxpayers. However, we're Canadians and we're on Team Canada. And Premier Houston, Premier Ford have a strong alliance when it comes to building out that clean energy vision. So by going first, it allows us to share the best practices, the lessons learned with our colleagues east and west, our provincial partners and territorial partners. Remember, Alberta has signed this MOU, Saskatchewan, New Brunswick. This is building momentum towards more provinces and territories signing on, because I think there's a realization we need power. Every jurisdiction is scrambling for reliable power, baseload power, and that's what nuclear provides. It's continuous, it's reliable, and yes, it's clean, and it's using Canadian uranium from Saskatchewan currently. So it's we want to really lean into that. 80,000 workers in Ontario benefit from the nuclear supply chain.
What do you see Nova Scotia bringing to the table here?
Well, obviously, their willingness to explore this adoption and deployment builds momentum for a project that just hours ago received $3 billion of federal provincial funding. I think it's a reminder that the SMRs is a serious energy resource for the world, and we're going to be the first to build it, and we're embracing that advantage. I think the second advantage for the country is that we're using the Canadian supply chain. 80% at least of every SMR built in Ontario will be using the Canadian supply chain. That's a massive advantage. That's $500 million this year alone. And I think when we think about how do we fortify our country from risks from President Trump and tariff exposure, let's strengthen Canadian businesses. Let's use them to build out our clean energy future.
Nova Scotia businesses be able to bid on that work?
Well, first of all, thanks to this man and the One Canadian Economy Act, yes, we are allowing this type of competition within the country first. We want to give advantage to Canadians, so all Canadians will benefit. When it comes to that type of perspective. But look, we're focused on supporting, keeping it local, keeping it in the province, in the country. And we're all going to benefit. Our country's GDP grows when we have more energy. The worst thing we can do is not have the power to support growth.
Premier, given what you know, sitting in your seat as the Premier of the province, and what we need to do, whether it's you or somebody else, do you not see a future without nuclear, or are we going to have it as part of the mix as we move along?
It's an option, and we have to be open to all options as we look at what does the ideal grid look like. And this is an option, and it'll be Canadian made. So we're listening, and I think this is a massive undertaking that Ontario is starting on right here, is in the process of. And so think about, as the minister mentioned, the supply chain, but the skill sets that are required, the welding that's required, all of these things, right? So we have capabilities too. We have a need for those skills too. So we're just saying, like, it's one country. Let's work closely together. Let's share information. Let's learn from each other. We're not competing. We're supporting each other. And I think that anytime there's an opportunity to be at a table where we can learn from the best in the world at something, we should be at that table. And that's what this is about.
Premier and Minister Lecce, we do have a virtual reporter online. So Aaron Bestwick with the Chronicle Herald. Can you hear me okay?
I can. I don't have any questions. Thanks so much.
Momentum. Can you tell me what else Ontario serves to gain by reaching this agreement with Nova Scotia?
I think Canadians benefit because there's three principal reasons why it is in the interest of Canada that the provinces work together on energy security. The first is we can advantage Canadian workers to build out our energy needs. We're talking about, as I mentioned, 18,000 construction workers in Ontario are going to benefit for building this fleet at Darlington. 18,000 Canadians have the dignity of work. When we see rising unemployment in the country, that's an amazing jobs investment. It's an industrial policy commitment because with the entire supply chain in Ontario and the country is getting fired up. And we're getting businesses literally building the components for the SMR as we speak. Like a company outside of Cambridge, Ontario, $1 billion we announced for EWX, a major component being built for the SMRs. That's a prudent step forward. And I think thirdly, it's the environmental advantage. Like 80 million GHGs are removed from the air every year because of nuclear. And, this is a technology for CANDU, for one type of large scale specifically, that was made in this country. And I think we should be proud of that, and we should lean into it. You want a clean economy, you want a clean environment, and a strong economy. I don't know how else you do it without contemplating, at least for provinces like Ontario, I speak only for us, with that baseload nuclear power. And look at the world. I mean, every country who's turned away from nuclear is now turning back to it. Many nations and democracies are announcing doubling their nuclear fleets. So there's momentum for it, and it's going to help create jobs for Canadians, and it's going to keep power affordable. And that's what we need more than anything to give us that advantage over the U.S. when we're fighting for jobs and investment.
Minister, how does the MOU between Ontario and Nova Scotia differ from the ones that Ontario has with other provinces?
A similar foundation of really getting into an agreement where we're at the table together and we're looking at all options to advance this technology. I think one of the things that I know Nova Scotia cares about is if anything they may do, they want to make sure that the local supply chain here in Nova Scotia benefits too. And that's sort of the nature of this program. It's how do we leverage local? And how do we think about a future where those businesses may want to domesticate in this province to build out local SMRs should the government decide to? So this is really a way to build up our economy, and it's a really powerful tool to signal to the world that we're not waiting. We're not hoping for the best. We're taking it into our hands. And I'm just grateful that Premier Ford and Premier Houston, I think, have demonstrated to the country that they're willing to do big things. It could be 5Gs of power offshore, or it could be 1,200 megawatts of power between these 4 SMRs, like power for 1.2 million homes. No matter where you look, we're going big, and we're doing it for the benefit of our economy.
Minister, if we are Team Canada, why are we investing in a technology that depends on enriched uraniums that is produced in the United States?
So first off, when it comes to security of supply, we have a deal with Cameco, a Canadian corporation, as you know, that does some refinery work in the U.S. Enrichment is not something that Canada can do at home. There are certain international treaties we are a member of, but we're buying it from a Canadian company, a subsidiary that's in the U.S. Our backup is British, our backup is French. We have security of supply of that product. And that's, I think, a commitment we're making, that we can access the supply of the fuels and we could build it out using Canadian workers and materials.
Okay, and Minister, how many SMR would we need in Nova Scotia?
I think when you look at our grid demands right now, like we use about 2 gigawatts. The SMRs that are at this stage under construction and will be, those are 300 megawatts. So, I mean, if we were to add some of that to our grid, maybe it's 1. It'll depend on when the wind comes onshore, what happens with other energy sources. But at this stage, we don't have a contract to buy one. We haven't committed any dollars towards it right now. But we need to be part of the process so we understand what is possible, and that's what's happening.
Premier, you appointed yourself Energy Minister just 2 days ago. Why was that needed?
Just kind of what we're trying to make sure we have incredible opportunities facing this province right now in natural resources, but lots of other spaces as well. We also have incredible challenges. So, as a leader, you're always just trying to make sure that you have people in the best positions with the best opportunity for success on behalf of Nova Scotians. So that was the thought process behind just resetting a few things as we move forward. The energy file itself is very significant to our province right now. Very significant, very important. And I just thought it was important that as Premier, that I be directly tied to that file. It sends a message to Nova Scotians, but also to industry as well, of the importance that I hold it as the Premier. So it was just time to reset. So we reset and move forward.
So you basically thought it was important with the heft of the Premier's office behind this one initiative?
Yeah. Behind it, multiple initiatives within one department, but yeah.
Do you have to leave it there? I know you both have meetings to get to. Thank you, Minister Lecce. Thank you, Premier. And we'll ask you just to head to the left there to sign the memorandum of understanding.
Very important pens. Made with the decking of the blue. You can have a little keepsake. That's tied to your heritage. Thank you.
somebody want to put me in?
Thanks, everyone. Thank you all.
Everyone, that concludes today's event. Thanks for joining.